Hey, let's talk about something that no Cowboys fan wants to hear but can't ignore. Could this really be the end of Micah Parsons in Dallas? It sounds crazy, right? But according to a report from NFL Network, the Cowboys have had internal discussions about a possible trade involving Parsons. Yeah, you heard that right. The heart and soul of this defense, a guy who has been nothing short of a superstar since stepping onto the field, could actually be on the move. Now, before you start throwing your remote at the TV, let's break this down. Internal discussions don't always mean something is imminent. NFL teams evaluate their rosters all the time. But the fact that Parsons' name is even coming up, that's a huge deal. Think about it, this is the guy who's been the face of our defense, who makes game-changing plays, and who opposing teams fear. So why would the Cowboys even entertain the idea of moving him? Is it about money, locker room dynamics, or is Jerry Jones just playing mind games with the fan base again? I need to hear from you on this. If it were up to you, would you trade Parsons? Drop a T in the comments if you'd trade him, or a K if you think the Cowboys need to keep him no matter what. And trust me, we're just getting started. Because the next part of this story, it gets even crazier. Alright, let's dig a little deeper. What do internal discussions actually mean in the NFL? Every team has these conversations evaluating players, potential trades, and salary cap situations. But here's the thing, when a player like Micah Parsons gets mentioned in trade talks, it's not just casual conversation. It means someone in the Cowboys front office at least considered the possibility of moving him. And Parsons isn't the only name floating around. The same NFL Network report mentioned to other pass rushers Max Crosby from the Raiders and Trey Hendrickson from the Bengals. Now, let's be real, these guys are elite, but they're not Micah Parsons, so why? Are they even in the same conversation? One possible reason: strategic leaks. Sometimes, front offices let these rumors slip to test the waters. Maybe Jerry Jones wants to see how the fans react. Maybe he's sending a message to Parsons about his contract demands. Or maybe, just maybe, there's real tension behind closed doors that we don't know about yet. And let's not forget, trade talks don't always lead to trades. We've seen rumors spiral out of control before, only for nothing to happen. But let's be honest, does this feel like just another rumor? Or is there something bigger going on here? So here's what I want to know. What do you think the chances are that Parsons actually gets traded? Vote in the poll right now. 0 to 25%. No way. Just media nonsense. 25 to 50%. Unlikely, but you never know. 50 to 75%. This is getting serious. 75 to 100%. Parsons is gone. It's just a matter of time. Because if money is the real issue here, things are about to get even more complicated. Now, let's talk about the real reason these trade rumors might actually have some weight: money. Micah Parsons is heading into the final years of his rookie contract, and we all know what that means. He's about to get paid. We're not talking about just any deal, we're talking about a record-breaking contract for a defensive player. Think more than $30 million per year, that's quarterback money. So here's the dilemma, can the Cowboys afford it? Jerry Jones has always said he's willing to spend for superstars, but his son, Stephen Jones, is a different story. He's obsessed with cap flexibility, meaning he doesn't like to hand out massive contracts that could hurt the team long-term. We saw this before with players like DeMarcus Lawrence and Ezekiel Elliott. One got paid, the other ended up as a cap casualty. And let's not forget, the Cowboys already have huge contracts on the books. Dak Prescott, CeeDee Lamb, and even Trevon Diggs all need big paydays soon. If Parsons gets his bag, that means someone else might have to go. So what's the move? Do the Cowboys break the bank to keep a generational talent like Parsons? Or do they consider moving him now, while his trade value is at its peak, to avoid cap problems down the road? This is where you come in. If you were in charge, would you give Parsons a record-breaking deal? Let me know in the comments. Type S for yes, pay him whatever it takes. Type in for nitrogen monoxide, too risky, trade him while you can. Because here's the thing, money talks, but sometimes silence speaks even louder, and right now, Micah Parsons isn't saying much. Money is a big factor in this situation, but there's something else that's raising eyebrows. Micah Parsons himself hasn't said a word. Think about it, the Cowboys made a huge decision by promoting Brian Schottenheimer to head coach after firing Mike McCarthy, and yet, Parsons has been completely silent about it. No reaction, no excitement, not even a simple let's go. On social media, that's not like him. This is a guy who's always vocal about the team, whether it's hyping up his teammates or speaking his mind about changes. Could this silence mean he's not happy? It's no secret that Parsons was a huge supporter of Dan Quinn, the Cowboys' former defensive coordinator. When Quinn left to become the head coach in Washington, Parsons made it very clear how much Quinn meant to him. So maybe he's not thrilled about playing for a new coaching staff. Maybe he feels like the defense is being pushed aside in favor of fixing the offense, and let's not forget, he's also been liking tweets about players getting massive contracts. Could that be a subtle message to the Cowboys front office? So here's the real question, is Micah Parsons just playing it cool, or is he quietly signaling that he's unhappy with the direction of the team? Drop your vote in the comments. Yes, Parsons is definitely unhappy. No, he's just focused and waiting for the right moment, because if there really is tension between Parsons and the Cowboys, things could get a lot more complicated. And that brings us to the big question, what happens if Dallas actually trades him? Alright, let's talk about the unthinkable. What if the Cowboys actually trade Micah Parsons? What could they get in return? And more importantly, would it even be worth it? If Dallas moves on from Parsons, they won't do it for just anything. We're talking about one of the best defensive players in the league, so the asking price would be massive. At minimum, the Cowboys would demand multiple first-round picks, maybe even a star player in return. Just look at what teams gave up for players like Jalen Ramsey or Khalil Mack in the past. Parsons would likely fetch an even bigger return. But here's the problem, even if Dallas gets a haul of picks, can they replace Parsons' production? Losing him wouldn't just hurt the pass rush, it would change the entire identity of the defense. He's the kind of player offenses game plan around. Without him, guys like DeMarcus Lawrence and Osa Odigizua would have way more pressure to step up, and the defense might not be the same dominant unit we've seen over the past few seasons. And let's be honest, draft picks are never a guarantee. The Cowboys could trade Parsons for a couple of first-rounders, but there's no guarantee they'd find another superstar like him. So here's the real dilemma, would trading Parsons help or hurt the Cowboys in the long run? Drop your take in the comments. What would be a fair price for Parsons? Multiple first-round picks? A star player and picks? Something else? Let's hear it. But before we make any final calls, let's take a step back. Are the Cowboys even willing to make this move? The answer might surprise you. So after all the rumors, speculation, and debates, what's the Cowboys' final stance on Micah Parsons? For now, the team hasn't made any official moves toward a trade. In fact, reports suggest that Jerry Jones still sees Parsons as a cornerstone of the franchise, but here's the catch, just because the Cowboys aren't actively shopping him doesn't mean they won't listen to offers. In the NFL, no player is ever truly untouchable. If the right deal comes along, things could change fast. And then there's the other side of this story. How does Parsons feel about all of this? Trade rumors can put a strain on a player's relationship with the team. If Parsons feels disrespected or undervalued, could this push him toward wanting out? At the end of the day, the Cowboys have a choice to make: pay Parsons what he's worth and keep a generational talent, or gamble on a trade that could reshape the franchise. So let's settle this once and for all. Type stay if you think Parsons should remain in Dallas. Type trade if you believe the Cowboys should move on. Whatever happens next, one thing is for sure, this saga is far from over.